Well, I'm gonna call this stage 1.2 because as I look around, we got a little bit more work to do. So our goal is to have this house on the market by the end of next week.
End of this week.
I don't know if that's gonna happen.
End of this week, you're getting this home ready.
Yeah, the goal, right, the goal was the end of this week, but as I just walked in, I feel like we got some work to do, so we'll see.
I'm more optimistic. I think we can get this house ready for the market by the end of this week because we are leaving to go to Aruba tomorrow. So we just doing a walkthrough of the house, making sure that our contractor and us are on the same page, coming up with a list of things that we need to get done. And really now it's just about the minor details, right? So, just making sure that we go through. So we're gonna take you on a quick walkthrough. What are you seeing? Like, what are some of your initial impressions,
Yeah, some of the initial things that I was thinking about was the fact that I know that we wanted to get all of these outlets redone. So basically new cover plates, if they need a new actual socket to redo that as well, just because when you walk into a house, when you freshly paint it, the thing that stands out is that old outlets, right? If they started looking yellow or tarnished a little bit, that makes the house look like it wasn't freshly painted. So we are definitely having them change out all these light switches, change out all the outlets to make it feel really fresh and just renewed.
So before she came in, what I did is I went and put blue tape on all the outlets that need to be addressed. So there are a couple of this blue tape. I think there's one back here, this light switch here.
The door jams.
Yeah, some of our door jams here just need to be addressed. So I think the key when you do your walkthrough is just don't get frustrated, right? Because it's easy to get frustrated. You're almost at the end and you want to end on a positive note, right? Especially when you getting your home ready for the market. So it's real easy for sellers to get frustrated. I think it's like that last part that most sellers get frustrated about, but that energy can carry on into your listing. So we just want to make sure we're carrying good positive energy on into our listing. So even in here, like if you notice, Crystal, I'd already come in here and kind of put blue tape on all the places that I felt like just needed attention.
The only other thing that I would just say, Alan, as I look around, I said, I know we have some more caulking to do because this is, they've already painted, right? So they've refreshed the paint in this room, but I do see some more caulking that needs to take place, especially in the kitchen around the backsplash. So we'll talk to him about that. But the thing that worries me the most, so I'm just like any other seller, right? We want our house to be able to show great as soon as it hits the public. But worries me is that we're not gonna be here for the final reveal, right? But the good news is that you always have to have trusted resources, right? That's gonna be able to do that for you. And of course, our trusted resources are our general site manager, which happens to be L.A. Johnson, Papa Johnson. So Papa Johnson will be here to make sure that the house looks pristine. And then of course our team over at the AJ team will come in and make sure it's market ready for us to have the photos ready to go.
Our GC, our general contractor, I trust them. You know what I'm saying? We've been doing business a long time. I told him to treat this house the way that he would treat his house going on the market. It can be two things. Number one, you end up spending more money when you give someone that permission. But number two, that you've given them permission to do what they need to do to make sure that it's right.
The most stressful part of the process of this move has been, the initial stressful part was just getting everything out, right? There were things that we didn't plan to take to the new house. Clearly there were things that we wanted to be able to, to keep with us. And then there's things we wanted to donate, right? We didn't want to throw things away. So the biggest obstacle was, finding places to put those things, to find a new home for those items. And then once we got that stuff out, it's been pretty smooth selling, right? I would just say that at the end of the day, it's just making sure that the house looks right. So I'm just stressed about, can we make sure this house looks great for that next buyer? In terms of getting the house prepared, I think that, we have a lot of experience, so that has helped us a lot. So if I was a seller who did not have this experience, I would think that most sellers, they stress about the small things, right? I went and met with a seller a couple weeks ago. They're like, I had this scratch on the floor. And I'm like, I promise you, no buyer is gonna walk in there and see that hairline scratch that's on your floor. What I want you to focus on is making sure that they feel like this house is theirs, right? By removing all the clutter. Like, we had the gift of being able to move into our house before we sold this one. So we had a chance to get it prepared. But if you were a seller who needed to sell a home that is gonna be occupied, the biggest thing that you can do to not worry yourself to death is just literally think about it from the angle of, let's create as least clutter as possible so people can see themselves in the house.
Real quick, y'all notice the difference. So look at this switch right here. We switched the plate, but we actually need to switch this outlet out, right? as opposed to like this over here. This is a new outlet and a new plate, right? So it's just those small things. We got everything repainted. It's just really these small little minor things that we just gotta make sure we buttoned up on.
Yeah, and they stand out like a sore thumb, right? And that's normal yellowing. There's nothing that you can do about that. You can't wash it, you can't scrub it. It's just gonna turn yellow. And so those things, you know what, it costs about $7, I think, the outlet, something like that. Small investment to make things really like stick out and be bright and white and clean.
Yeah, but you need to hire an electrician.
Yes, yeah.
So the electrician ain't no $7. Right?
No,
Fish, right?
that's why your GC brings the electrician. Make sure it's included in your price.